So I'm sitting here waiting for Jake, as I often do, because I'm the one that shows up early. But I wanted to talk quickly, and this is something that we actually talked about on one of our little segments that didn't end up making the podcast, but I think that would be very important and something that I'm doing exactly right now that would help benefit you guys. And that is taking your footage as soon as you're done filming and putting it on your hard drive. And I believe Jake had an acronym for it, and you'll probably hear it whenever I show that footage from that podcast. But the importance of taking your footage directly off of your camera onto your laptop and just being able to preview things is very important. One, because you took the time to set up this amazing set. Two, your talent took the time out of their day to come and film that day. You want to make sure that you're previewing the footage before you go and say, okay, that's a wrap, like we're good to go, all those kinds of things. The other thing is, while you still have everything set up, just making sure that the double check, like you should have already been checking the audio while you're recording, but double check the audio, double check the framing, all of those things, so that if you do need to re-record, you go ahead and do that right then and there, as opposed to having to schedule out, hey, we gotta, or contact your client and be like, hey, we gotta re-record that or refilm that or whatever it may be, because you also have to consider, the facility usage. Do you have that facility again? Do you have that same setup? All of those things. So here's a clip from the podcast of me and Jake talking about the importance of that. Hopefully you find it useful, and we'll see ya. You mentioned DIT. So what is that, and what does it stand for?
A DIT stands as a digital imaging technician. Now, a DIT's job is pretty simple. Usually they're the ones that are handling all the media. So on set, on projects, unless if you have a 1 terabyte SD card, which I don't recommend for most people to do or get, you have to offload those memory cards onto hard drives. And that's when a DIT comes in. Usually they have small editing station, laptop, portable, on a cart nearby, where they are just offloading memory cards. And that's their entire job. They don't do editing per se. All that they're doing is they're just putting those files onto a hard drive, so then you can either format your memory card or just to have a backup. That's their job. So if I'm handing off memory to a DIT, I will pop memory card. Usually all my memory cards are labeled on a set like that, just so then they know, so then I know, so then they know what memory card that they're on. They'll label the memory card. They'll label maybe the time frame, or if it's a scene, if it's a certain scene that we're on, they'll put, scene 3, camera A. It's usually cam A or cam B or cam C. They will file and put all those things in order, so then the editor on the project can understand, okay, this is where these files are, this is where that is, this is where this is.
Does the editor often become the DIT or want to be the DIT? Because I know last time we were talking about how you always want an editor on location with you. Mm-hmm. Is it also something where an editor would want to be the DIT?
Sometimes. If you can hire the editor to be on site, which depending on the editor that you have, some of them are a little bit more expensive and their day rates might be more than what a DIT's day rate would be. And so if it's not in the budget for the editor to be there, which I'd always recommend for them to be there if you can afford it, you'd have a DIT. But yes, editors will sometimes, if not usually, be the DIT on their own, because they're the ones that are already going to be getting the files as it is. If the DIT is there and the editor is there, they're working hand in hand. So DIT will probably be taking memory cards and they're offloading those memory cards onto a hard drive. They then take the files from the hard drive and put it onto a backup hard drive, and then they'll go further and they'll put it onto the editor's hard drive as well. So redundancy, 3 hard drives with the same files, just in case if something were to get corrupted.
And in different locations, right? You have one in your backpack, you have one that goes with somebody else if they're traveling or whatever it is. So there's,
Exactly.